Hello friends, and welcome back to another episode of Classic Imagination Workshop. On today's build, we are going to build the BB-8 and R2D2 from Bandai. This is a 1/12 scale rendition of these two characters, and I'm not really a big fan of BB-8 or pretty much any of the new Star Wars. I'm old school and I prefer R2D2. He's always been a favorite character of mine and a favorite robot of mine growing up. When I originally went to go see Star Wars as a kid, when it first came out, it was at a drive-in theater with my family in a station wagon, and our neighbors were in the car next to us in their car watching the movie. So I have a lot of fond memories of the original Star Wars trilogy, and that's just me. Those are my favorites. Say what you will about the new movies, but I like the original stuff. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty quick build. I've already done a box review. If you want, you can follow the link down below to see my previous unboxing of this kit and review this kit. It's a pretty standard Bandai kit. Doesn't require glue, doesn't require paint. I will use some glue on some parts just to make sure they stay. I probably won't paint this. I'm probably just going to do it straight out of the box. One bonus that this kit has is it does come with two sets of decals. One are just vinyl stickers and the other is water slide, so I will be using the water slide decals, but it's nice that they include them. At the end of the build, I'll give you a quick overview of my thoughts on the kit, who this kit might be a good fit for, pros and cons, and all the normal stuff. So let me grab some clippers, some sanding sticks, some glue, and let's get to the build. Okay, so here we have BB-8 completed. So there's a couple options in this kit. You can use this little stand so that he kind of, can move around and his head kind of bobbles. Or there is an option to use this part here, which you would just replace with one of these, and then his head just sticks on it. So then he's standard, he's stationary, he's not going anywhere. There are also a couple of options with parts for his body and for his, for the most part for his body, that you can use different tools and stuff that he might have used in the movies. But all in all, it went together really well. I can't stress enough how much you need to have a couple of good sanding sticks, because everywhere where you cut from the sprue, especially on some of the pieces that fit inside each other, you've really got to take the time to sand off that extra sprue and trim it up. And around these white pieces, if you don't trim off, like here, you can see the connection points here and here and here. If you don't sand those down and get them nice and smooth, they're going to bump into each other when you're putting them together. Also, let me move him out of the way. In the instructions, you'll see that they have a couple places they have noted here, undergate. So what those are is, I pointed them out earlier, when you trim off, I don't have one to show you now, but when you trim off these pieces like this one here, where the sprue connects here, you'll cut it there, but then there's this undergate of where it injected the plastic into the mold, is what I'm assuming. So you need to make sure you clean that off and get it nice and smooth. And they notate with little arrows as to where those undergates are going to be located, and you just got to cut them off and clean them up. If you do that, this little guy goes together really well. He snaps together. I did have to use glue on the antennas because they're just very lightly fit in there, especially this short one. It just sits on a little hole. So I did use cement on that, but otherwise he came out good, looks cool. So now onward to R2-D2. Okay, and here we have the completed R2D2 build. So this kit goes together really easy, actually. There was a couple tight fits on these arms, on these little pieces here, and the instructions were really clear, except this part here wasn't really clear why they couldn't have just changed the picture a little bit to display where exactly that's supposed to go. Is odd, but otherwise it went together really great, really good kit. Easy to do, and you know, for what it is, it looks really good. Okay, so these little doors, there's options. You have options to have these doors posed open or closed, and he does have accessory tools that you can put in different areas. I chose not to use them, so they're just pressed in there. If this one keeps falling out, I will glue it. But you can either glue them open, or you don't have to even glue them. You can either leave them open or closed with the tool in or the tool out. There is another couple extra pieces for up here, like the little periscope and the part that ejects the lightsaber. All in all, really cool. All right, so both kits, very easy to build. I would say that this is a good kit for a beginner modeler. And something to get used to handling small parts. Small children, on the other hand, I wouldn't suggest, because there are some very tiny parts that do require some delicate maneuvering with the tweezers. Well, at least I had to use it. Maybe with small fingers they wouldn't have so much problem, but with some adult supervision, this is a great kit. Pros and cons. Pros, it's a Bandai kit. All the parts were very cleanly molded. They're all pre-colored. No flash. You do have to clean up some parts, and I can't stress this enough. Where you cut parts from the tree, you need to sand off those connection points, especially these parts that sit inside, you know, another part that countersink. And with this one here, the little where the joints meet up, if you don't clean those off with a little file or some sandpaper, they're not going to fit really well. Cons, really, I have no con. I mean, they're a little small, but you know, the scale's scale, so I really don't have any cons. The instructions, it was weird. Part of the instructions at the end were in color, and part of the instructions at the beginning were just black and white. I think if they had done them all in color, it would have made the kit go together even quicker and easier. But again, I'm nitpicking on that at this point. So all in all, great little kits. They are great additions to my shelf. One thing about R2D2 I will mention: if you decide to use the foot, his center foot, and leave it out, I suggest you do that. If you don't, if you push it in here, you can't get this thing out. I mean, I've tried. I mean, I know I could probably get in there with a tool and yank it out, but it is very difficult to get this foot out once it's all together. So not a big deal. I like him in this pose, and that's going to work for me. So that's going to conclude this quick build of the Bandai BB-8 and R2D2 kit, and I hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please leave comments. Love to hear your comments. I try to reply to everybody. And as always, everyone, just be safe out there and go build something.